All right. I'm going to dive right in talking Thursday night football and then also the NFL playoff picture um, coming into week 15. It should be a great week. There's a bunch of great matchups just from looking ahead a little bit. But we're going to start with tonight Falcons Bucks. It should be a real good game. Believe the spread is still about 3.5 on the game, and the over/under is 45.5. A little bit low. I think actually that could go over with Mike Evans now being active. They did say he was going to get a little bit of limited reps in the game, but I think he could still be an impact. Definitely in the game tonight. So I'm going to run through this. This is just kind of the game preview I put together. It has a few props that I like for the game, and then also just talks about both offenses, both defenses, scoring, and then just overall defense in the game as well. So just to get started here with tonight, the defenses are kind of opposite of each other. The Falcons are typically better against the pass. They rank 10th currently as far as yards allowed. Only about 190 passing yards allowed per game. And then obviously the rush defense is a little bit different. They rank bottom half 24th and are giving up about 131 yards per game. I'll go into this a little bit later with the player props I like. But I usually, based on where these teams fall as far as their defense, offensive rankings, I usually base some of the player props at least off of that. So the Buccaneers, on the other hand, are the opposite of the Falcons. Much better against the run as in 2025 up to this point. They give up about 237 yards per game. This ranks 27th in the NFL. I'm not exactly sure. Can go see the Bucks passing defense. So yeah, 237 yards per game, and they've allowed 21 touchdowns up to this point as well. And then their rush defense is pretty good. They are facing Bijan, which is a tough matchup no matter who you are, but they've only given up 100 yards per game currently, and 15 touchdowns is a little bit high. Josh Allen did score 3 rushing touchdowns against them earlier in the season, though, which does prop this number up a little bit. But 15 still a high number there. Offensively, they're both bottom half in scoring. Bucks score an average of 23 points per game. Falcons are at 19 points per game. And the Falcons are also without Drake London, and then without Michael Penix, obviously, who got hurt earlier in the season and now I believe is not going to be back for the rest of the season. Obviously, Bijan's still there. And then Kyle Pitts has been a big target of the quarterback. Kirk Cousins. He's been a big target for Kirk. But 19 is pretty low. I expect if I had to pick a winner, I would pick the Bucks. It's a must-win game for the Bucks. Pretty much win. They need to win. The Saints, I believe, play the Panthers, and the Panthers and the Bucks have the same record currently. So I expect the Panthers to win this week. And if the Panthers win, and the Bucks lose, they're going to be in big trouble. But getting into the offenses specifically, the Falcons' passing offense, it's not been great. They only have 12 passing touchdowns up to this point, and this ranks second worst. I believe Tennessee has less than them, but just not a great offense, honestly, through the air. The one thing they do have going for them is that the Bucks are a little more vulnerable to the pass than the run, giving up the 237 on average, obviously ranking bottom half in pass defense. And then as far as the Bucks offense, they've definitely been on and off hurt throughout the season. But they're bottom half in both rushing and passing yards up to this point. Both of them, in as far as yardage, are 20th. They do have 20 total passing touchdowns on the season, which is pretty good. Ranks tied for 14th best. And then obviously Mike Evans is coming back tonight. I believe he'll be having limited snaps. But when Mike Evans does play, the Buccaneers are usually in a good spot. They score almost 8 more points per game with him on the field in the past 2 seasons than with him not on the field. So as long as he's out there, I expect him to get some attention, which could free up other players like Egbuka or Bucky Irving, which I do have as a player prop I do like for tonight. Let's see. Yeah, Mayfield struggled a little bit. He's got 4 passing touchdowns in the past 4 games combined. I think he has, what does he have on the season? I think he has over 20 on the season. I can't find that right now. I believe he has over 20 on the season though. So 1 in each previous game. It's definitely not ideal. But with Evans back, I think it could definitely improve. And then just getting into some of the player props I like for tonight. I do have a parlay with Bucky and Bijan. As far as Bucky's prop, I do like him to hit over 61.5 rushing yards. He's been right around 60 since coming back from injury these past 2 games. And they were against the Saints and Cardinals, who actually rank better than the Falcons as far as rushing yards allowed per game. The other one I have here is Kyle Pitts. I believe Kyle Pitts is playing tonight. He was questionable coming in, but he's really the only receiving target that Kirk Cousins has. I expect him to go over 59.5. He's been over 80 in each of his past 2 games without Drake London. And London has been ruled out for at least this week, possibly next couple weeks as well. But with him out, Pitts is probably the number 1 pass catcher in the Falcons offense right now. And then unless you're considering Bijan, I do think Bijan could have a significant role in the passing game too. But I still expect him to get a fair share of work on the ground. That's why I have over 16.5 here rush attempts. I just think if the Falcons want to keep the game close, they are going to need to run the ball. He has cleared 16.5 in 4 of 5 previous games. You can even knock that number down a little bit. I believe you can alternate spread that or alternate the line there. I did it in my parlay that I'll show you in a moment. But I like 16.5 still if you can get that. He's cleared it in 4 or 5, and I don't see why he can't clear it tonight. All right, we'll go to the parlay first here for tonight. It's just going to be Bucky over his 61.5, and then Bijan, I did bump it down to 13.5. He did have 1 game in his last 4 with, I believe, like 14 or 15 rush attempts. But he's the best player on the field offensively for the Falcons. So I think he easily clears this number. And then I did basically the same thing as before I just went over. But Falcons are giving up 131 yards on average. And then he has cleared this number, 13.5, in all 5 of his previous games. So I do like that. It's pretty good odds too, 20 to win 57. So I like that play a lot. And then I did put out a best bet for tonight. I like Bijan to score. He's really the most dynamic player on both teams, and I think he scores tonight. I don't know if it's through the air or on the ground, but he did score in the first matchup between the two. The Falcons and the Bucs did play week 1, And the Bucs have allowed 15 rushing touchdowns this season. As long as Tyler Algier doesn't take away from his goal line touches too much, I think Bijan could get in, and that's kind of why I lean towards the over as well in the matchup, because if Bijan and Bucky score, I think we're heading towards the over, especially with Evans back. The Falcons' offense is gonna struggle a little bit though, I think. Yeah. Drake London's still out. Like I said here, he could be Bijan the best rushing and receiving option for the Falcons, honestly, tonight, and maybe the rest of the season. Pitts was involved heavily last week and the week before, but I don't think he caught a touchdown. So I really don't know where the Falcons' points are going to come from if it's not Bijan tonight. All right, and then that's pretty much it. Like I said, if I had to pick the game, I think I would take the Bucs here. Obviously, I would definitely take them straight up. But even 3.5, I think is a fine play. It's a must-win game for them. If we go to the playoff picture here, so the Bucs are sitting at 7-6. They are first in the NFC South. But like I said earlier, the Panthers are playing the Saints. Should be a win for the Panthers. So yeah, I think it's a must-win. I wonder if they play. Let me see if I can find. I wonder if they play again. I'm assuming they play again, unless the Bucs and Panthers already played twice. I don't know what this is. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, it is. Week 16 is Bucs Panthers. So I guess if the Bucs do lose tonight and the Panthers win, Bucs would be 7-7. Panthers would be 8-6, and then they would play again. And if the Bucs do win that game, then they would get because they won the previous game, so they would have both games won. They'd have the same record, but they still be first in the division. And then let's see. So Dolphins are kind of a tough matchup for the Bucs as well. Who do the Panthers play? Why do I not see them? But ultimately, it's probably a must-win for the Bucs anyway. But getting back to playoff picture, where can I find that? Let's just go back. Yeah, here we go. Playoffs are going to be fun. There is, I feel like, much better teams in the NFC, but I don't know. Broncos and Patriots, I feel like everyone is kind of overlooking. I feel like straight up, people would probably take the Rams over the Broncos or Patriots, or maybe even the Seahawks. Broncos do look pretty good though. Broncos, Patriots, Rams are definitely in the playoffs. I can't believe the Lions are sitting outside of the playoffs right now. They have about a 50% chance currently. That's what at least the NFL.com says. About a 50% chance at making the playoffs. I feel like that would just stink if they missed the playoffs. And I also feel really bad for the Colts. Just losing Daniel Jones, having to play the Seahawks. They also have a really, really tough schedule ahead. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure that Phillip Rivers is going to be able to solve all their problems. That kind of stinks. Panthers have put together a pretty good season too. I'm kind of surprised that Bryce Young is playing as well as he is. But they're 7-6, second in their division. If they win out, they're in. Chiefs currently only have a 12% chance at getting in. They need to win out, and they need some help, I believe, to get in the playoffs, which is interesting. And then, obviously, there's a bunch of teams that are eliminated already. Oh, so the Falcons are eliminated. It is interesting because like they kind of have nothing to play for tonight, but at the same time, I mean, they can kind of ruin the Bucs season if they win tonight. So I guess that's probably their motivation to win tonight. But they are eliminated. I'll probably end up doing like a little playoff bracket once it's set. I think that would be kind of fun. See if I get any right or how much I get right. But yeah, I guess nobody's clinched a playoff spot yet officially. But if I had to pick, I think the Broncos, Patriots, Rams, Packers, all in really good spots. Chargers look pretty good after beating the Eagles. Justin Herbert needs to get healthy though. I think that's going to be tough mid-season, especially. Just there is really no time to recover. You can't recover a fracture like that quick. Big matchup between the Bills and Patriots this week. We'll probably get into that with the player props and game previews. I'll probably stream that on Friday, tomorrow or Saturday at some point. Probably tomorrow, I guess. But that's really all I wanted to go over today. Should be a fun game. Should be a fun matchup. I think the Bucs ultimately win tonight, but I guess we'll see later on tonight. Have a great time watching, and I will be back tomorrow probably with the player props that I like for Sunday, and then probably picks as well for Sunday too. So have a great weekend if you're not tuned in tomorrow. And I will be I'll also probably be going over some of my best ball teams, see if they have any chance at winning anything. I'm not really sure how it'll go. It's really my first time doing it, but I'm interested to see how that goes as well. So that'll be coming to you soon as well. I look forward to that too.